You're listening to Addressing Gettysburg.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this special episode of Addressing Gettysburg. It is time for the Get Out of the Car tours. The weather is changing, although if you're watching us on video, you wouldn't know it. And so there's no confusion, we are bundled up because it is currently January 22nd is when we're recording this. And we are in our spacious Gettys Bike Tours studios, which is a shed. It is a shed. And though we have insulated it and we do have heat, it is paltry heat, not the best insulation, and it's 20 degrees outside. So it takes a while for the heat to start working, but you might notice that as the year goes on and we release more of these little promo episodes, we will be wearing less clothing and headgear, because it will warm up in here by the time
we hope
we're done recording today. Today we're talking with Lewis Trott, LBG extraordinaire, and this is going to be your third year. Third year doing the Get Out of the Car tours. Lewis was with us from the beginning. Basically the beginning, and has always been very supportive and helpful. And so we thought, well, let's give him some opportunities to get some bus rates in there. I mean, really is what it was, right? I wanted to help you with some bus rate. And I said, even if we only get 5 people, I'll pay you a bus rate. But we never had only 5 people, which was great. So this year we're looking forward to it. We hope it's going to be good, blah, blah, blah. All right, you don't want to hear all this stuff. You just want to get right to the nitty gritty. So we're talking about April 9th's tour today. April 9th. Now, normally we do the tours on the 3rd Saturday of every month. But this year we're competing with a man named Jesus Christ and the day that he defeated death. And so who can compete with that? And of course the Easter Bunny bringing candy.
Yeah.
So that's on the 3rd weekend. So we're going to do this on the 2nd weekend, which will be April 9th. Anyway, we're doing Kershaw's Brigade. Tell us a little bit about Kershaw's Brigade. Why are we doing it? What are we going to learn?
Kershaw's Brigade is a brigade filled with South Carolinians.
Okay.
They are going to participate in the second day's attack. Primarily, his forces will be going towards the Wheatfield and towards Stony Hill. A portion of his left flank, as he's moving from west to east towards the Wheatfield, is going to turn and face some of the Union artillery in the Peach Orchard. And we'll talk about the confusion that causes and stuff. Kershaw, I think, just reading, everybody loves the Wheatfield, so
yeah,
this plays into that. I think on the Confederate side, Kershaw is really the only Confederate commander to try to gain some semblance of coordination between the units. He's the only one that seems to try to take charge. Now, by this time, their division commander, Hood, Kershaw's not in that division, but he's the division commander in that area. Hood is down. Mm-hmm. So after that, there's a lot of confusion amongst the hierarchy of the division Confederate commanders in that area. When Kershaw's brigade launches their attack, it's about 5 o'clock in the evening on July 2nd. He is south of Barksdale's brigade, so Barksdale's brigade will be on his left. Once he launches his attack, he's the only one really that seems like he's trying to exercise any type of control on the Confederate side. And
like overall control.
Yeah,
like everybody's controlling their brigades, trying
to coordinate movements between the brigades on either side of him.
Okay.
Now, as we'll talk about, just to give you a preview, when his brigade steps off, he expects Barksdale's brigade to be stepping off too. But as the South Carolinians move towards the east, he hears the drums beating, calling Barksdale's brigade to assembly, meaning to form up. He realizes they're not stepping off with him. Mm-hmm. It always fascinates me to think, what if they did step off at the same time? Because then I think the Peach Orchard gets overrun much more quicker.
Yeah.
And if that area gets overrun quicker, everything moves towards the east faster. Some of those units that are going to move from other parts of the line down into the Wheatfield might not arrive there in time or have the chance to stem the Confederate tide.
Right.
The Wheatfield fascinates people. I know Eric and I have talked about it. A lot of people find it confusing. I finally feel like I've gotten a grasp on it. Now, whether I can convey that verbally, that's another story. But in my head, I think, I think I understand what's going on here. It's just a lot of back and forth.
Yeah. It's when you get into the nitty gritty of which regiments were here and there and which brigade came in then. And
and they're so separated and everything. So this is just part of that. People find the Wheatfield fascinating. So I picked this one, Kershaw. They do push in towards the Stony Hill. Stony Hill's a neat place.
Yeah.
I got to New Year's Eve when I wandered around by myself, as like I usually do each year. I spent about 45 minutes to an hour on Stony Hill because I'd never been back in those woods. And it's quite stony. So I see where it got its name.
It is aptly named.
Yeah, I'm not going to walk back there in the summertime, though, because bugs and stuff.
Bugs, ticks,
it's too hard to get through the
spiders.
Now,
how about this? Stony Hill, at the time of the battle, do you know, was it wooded or was it bald?
I think there's woods there. Whether that underbrush is like it is today, because I
asked because I saw a picture, post-battle picture. I don't know if it was late 19th century or early 20th century. It was hard to tell, and I didn't see any markings. But it was taken of Stony Hill, but it looked like they were up in a tree or on some kind of it was high up.
Yeah,
and it's looking down across. Where the bend is in, was that Brook Avenue?
Yep.
And so it's looking down out that way across to the Rose Farm and everything. And it's completely denuded of trees. And so I wonder.
We know there were adler trees in the area because they write about it. And it was swampy at the southern end of Stony Hill.
Yes.
Because that formed a natural barrier.
Right.
And helped
funnel them into.
It helped fortify the Union line at the end of the right end of the 17th Maine. So I do think there were trees there. Again, whether it was as dense.
It can't be as dense as it is now.
Because farmers let loose their animals in that area.
That's the thing. The one thing that really not bothers me, but just is kind of like, I wish they could do this. Is keep the underbrush in these woods on the park today, like it was back then.
It would be nice.
That would
it would afford you the ability to walk through there in the summertime.
Yeah, and just to see none of us today, very few of us today, unless you have like a pine forest near you, know what it looks like to walk in the woods where there's no undergrowth.
Yeah,
right. It's a weird thing.
To
say because especially on the eastern seaboard, all the woods
down
are
in
just
North
full.
Carolina you can because of the pine trees. But I spent a lot of time at Fort Bragg. We used to camp out there. And
there's a state park up here on the mountains. There's a reservoir up on top of this mountain, and you can go there. I can't remember the name of the park, but there's a thicket of pines up there, and if you walk through it, it's beautiful because it's these tall trees, no branches hitting you in the face, and nothing growing on the ground because it's just blanketed in pine needles.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool, but not very common. All right,
but talk about resilience.
Yeah,
those weeds grow back as soon as you cut them.
Oh yeah,
all that stuff.
No, I know. That's the problem, is that it'll always grow back and you got to keep it up. It's easy to do it the first time, but you got to maintain it.
Yeah, but I was shocked how big and how numerous the rocks are on Stony Hill.
Yeah.
I mean,
so they weren't joking when they named it Stony Hill.
Stony. So, but again, it fascinates me to think. I'll deal with what ifs to a certain point. I don't care about Thomas Jackson being here.
No, I don't either.
But my what ifs are more tactical. What if they do this with a particular unit in conjunction with another one at this time of day? And I always think, what if Barksdale steps off when Kershaw steps off, and they go together? And I think that's
an interesting what if. I've never heard that what if, and that is interesting because I think I agree that it would have, the Peach Orchard salient would have fallen a lot sooner and with less effort.
And you think about with Barksdale, the 21st Mississippi is going east. You know, the rest of Barksdale's, they conform to Lee's plan, turn and border the Emmitsburg Road. But that 21st Mississippi keeps going, and they overrun artillery. If they have more support and they don't get so far in front of everybody else that it's just them, and then you have Lockwood's brigade coming from Culp's Hill, and other reinforcements arrive to retake that artillery, what if there's more Confederates moving that way and they are able to secure that artillery? I'm not saying they're using it right then, but I think they can get to that line where McGilvery's artillery line sets up as the last hope. Maybe they get there sooner. I don't know.
I mean, it definitely would change where all the fighting was, right? It would be maybe in those woods there behind the Weichert farm, the John Weichert farm, you know, in those woods. And it could have changed things, but I don't think it would have changed the outcome.
Might not have.
I think because the Union, even if, let's say they got all the way to like Munshauer's Hill, the Union's got 2 corps coming up.
They do.
And the 12th Corps coming over too. And
and when I argue with myself in my head, I'm the only one that talks about this. To me, it's just me. I go out there and talk to other guys about this. They'll say, how'd you make it? But if all I say plays out the way I've said it, you know, everybody moves at once and they get that far, I think, Caldwell's division might not have moved so far down. And they're the ones that come down and stop them. Rather than going to the Wheatfield, they just slide a little bit to their left, and you got a full division. But you're right, the 6th Corps moved up. You still got the 5th Corps to piece out. So, I mean, the answer is still always the same with all these what-ifs. It's like, they could have gotten farther. They could have broken the line. But who was going to help them secure it? Nobody, because there were no reserves coming up. However, the Union had reserves. And not like a brigade of reserves. They had entire corps of reserves. Our concentration of study would have been in a total different spot on the park.
Absolutely. All right, so April 9th, it starts at 10 a.m., so get there early. We're going to park at the Long Street Tower. That is the tower down by the Eisenhower Farm on Confederate Avenue, just before it hits the Emmitsburg Road. What other ways can I tell? Well, there's only 3 towers on the whole park. So
it's the one at the south end of the field.
It's the one down there by the Warfield Farm, the Eisenhower Farm. It's off the Millerstown Road. I don't know how many other ways I can explain it to you. But you could also Google it.
Yeah, it's right down there. Past the Mississippi Monument.
Park where legal, as we always say. Please park where legal. Are we going through open fields on this one? I'm imagining.
So it's April. I don't know. It'll probably still be a little chilly. Now, wear good shoes because it takes a while for this place to dry out after.
I've
noticed that.
Don't wear anything that you don't want to ruin.
No flip flops,
please.
I think we might see Eric in shoes.
Maybe for the first time ever.
It's just going to be wet, I think. It's the way it is. Here.
Eric and one of our listeners, Paula, they refuse to wear shoes, and
they're hardy souls.
They are hardy souls. But so be prepared to go off-roading, as it were, because there are no real paths or trails that get us across that span of land that we need to go on. The only way to do it really would be to go up the Millerstown Road and then over. But who wants to be walking on the roads? We're not going to do that.
You can do that the next day on a bike tour.
Yeah, there you go. Very good idea. So 10 o'clock, Long Street Tower, park where legal, April 9th. We hope to see you there. Just so that we can get an idea of how many people were coming, you can go to addressinggettysburg.com/get out of the car tours, but you got to put a dash between each word. Or just go to addressinggettysburg.com and look around until you find it. You'll find it. Anyway, my point is you can go there, register, and that'll just give us an idea. It's free. You know, if you have to cancel it, don't worry about contacting us. You don't need to contact us to cancel. We just want to get a ballpark idea of how many people are coming, just so that we can, prepare ourselves to be excited or to cry because it's not a lot of people. So, that's the idea there. So April 9th, 2022, 10 a.m., park at the Long Street Tower, Kershaw's Brigade. For those of you who say we're too Union-centric, I think you're going to be proven wrong. Yes.
Oh.
Bunch of Yankees, dirty Yankees.
I always
filthy blue bellies, they call us.
I
Spreading your Lincoln lies.
I always try to do it by day. I try to spread it out,
Yeah.
Have a couple for each day.
But this is good because April is not the only one where we're following a Confederate unit. So I don't ever want to hear any bitching from you guys again about all that stuff.
I didn't know.
Yeah. Oh,
We're going to get them Yankees.
Yeah.
They're not going to get us this year.
No.
It's going to be all year.
This is all year with addressing Gettysburg. Terrible Southern accents. All right. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for listening, and we will see you on the 9th.
Our hearts so stout have got us famed, for soon 'tis known from whence we came. Wherever we go, they dread the name of Garry, Owen, and Glory. Instead, swallow, drink down, ale,